Folks, welcome back. My name's Alex. This is Nostalgianomics. Happy 2025 to all of you out there. I gotta tell you, if you didn't have fun in 2024 in the Pokemon hobby, I can't help you anymore. You need to find something else to do with your time. You need to find a new hobby. This place is just not for you because it just doesn't get much better than what we just saw in 2024, except all pump and dump, all shill, all market manipulation aside. 2025 could actually be better than what we saw in 2024. And I'll tell you why I say that. The energy and excitement for this market, it's not going away. It's actually still rising. It's still swelling up. When you look at how excited people are, not just for the card game, but for the anime show, for the possibility of new series coming for Pokemon, new movies in the future, the new games that are set to be released, the Pokemon Pocket app and all the success that they're seeing there. Pokemon Go still has players. When you take into all of that and then you come to the card game and you look at every single era going back to 1999 base set and you see cards and slabs and sealed product all rising across the board and love being had across the entire hobby right now. And then you see distributors with literally almost zero Pokemon products left to sell to stores. We already know the big box stores, they're cleaned out, right? There's nothing left at the Sam's Clubs, the Costco's, the Walmarts, the Targets. It's all gone, right? And then you go to local LGSs and they're telling you, yeah, I basically have nothing left on my shelves. And then you go to the distributors and say, hey, we need more product to supply all these stores. And they say, yeah, we don't have any. Guys, there are literally some of the largest distributors in the nation that have like 3 or 4 Pokemon products left to be distributed. That's it. And they're not even good products. They're like battle academies or battle decks or things that nobody wants. They have been cleaned out. And with that comes the price rises that we've seen all across every set in the hobby, especially Scarlet Violet era. And so when you are continuing to see that and you're seeing Prismatic Evolutions pre-order higher than any ETB has in the entire history of Pokemon, and you are seeing sets even past Prismatic Evolutions being pre-ordered earlier than we've ever seen. Like SV09 was being pre-ordered before it was even announced or we even knew what the set was. And it was being pre-ordered so fast that some of these sites that were pre-ordering it had to take down the pre-order because it was selling too quickly. When you see this amount of excitement and craze, it's not anywhere near over, right? And so I can't tell you what's going to happen in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, but I'm pretty confident in the next 3-6 months, we're not slowing down, guys. There's too much on the horizon. There's too much people are still excited about. And so going forward in 2025, I'm not worried, right? I mean, you have to position yourself how you see fit, make your buys, your sells, your holds, according to what you see. But as far as I see things, seems like everything's going to keep running. Seems like we're going to keep seeing product shortages. I'm sure reprints will come and reprints will go, and they'll probably be eaten up like that because, as I said before, the pack rippers need their product and they don't care what they have to pay for it, right? As long as they are getting the best deals they can, they're just going to mark it up a little bit to make a profit on their packs, and the market's going to move on. And if that means the boxes cost $100, great. If they cost $150, fine. If they cost $200, well, is what it is. If they cost $250, I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to move the packs, and it's going to keep rising. If you don't know what I mean, Surging Sparks, guys, we talked about it a bunch of times before release, at release, after release, and it kind of went through a lull because a lot of people were selling it, taking their profits when it reached $200 to $220. And I made videos telling you this was going to be short-lived. Eventually, when all of kind of the paper hands, type people, when all of those people move their product very early and all of those people get wiped out of the market and all of those packs get opened by all of the rip and ship streamers, the product's going to have nothing left to do but go up. And that's what we're finally seeing now. The sleeve blisters are gone, right? All of the ETBs that were cheap were gone, right? Even the single packs. Go look right now. Log on to TCG Player right now. The single packs of Surging Sparks are $7.50 now. Even the single packs are gone. The booster boxes are now rising again. So yeah, I think everything's going to continue to rise. That'll be my first prediction. My first prediction I'm going to make, get the 8-ball out with the help of my trusty 8-ball. First prediction we're going to make, Surging Sparks. I do not care if it gets reprinted, if it doesn't get reprinted, whatever happens along the way in 2025, by the end of the year, Surging Sparks is still going to be, in my opinion, a $250 to $300 booster box. Alex, what if the reprint's massive? I think it probably will be. I think the boxes will drop if we get a massive reprint back to the mid-hundreds. I also think it's going to run up extremely fast because of all the high-value cards and the chases that are in that set, and just the hype that's surrounding it and the low supply that we already have of that set that we didn't see in the previous sets this quickly. And so I do believe Surging Sparks is going to continue to be one of the top, if not the top sets in the era, and it will still cement itself around the $250 to $300 mark by the end of the year, reprints aside. Now, if we do get that February, March reprint that people are expecting, I think there'll be a huge opportunity to pick that box up. No idea where it'll fall to. In my opinion, probably somewhere around $150. If the distributors somehow, this is a huge if they sell it to stores at original price, like the original, whatever their contracted rates are, 88 a box, 90 a box, 92 a box, 95 a box, who knows? Then it could drop super low. Maybe it does drop to 110, 120. I personally don't expect that to happen. I expect the distributors to jack up the prices. They'll probably sell it to stores at like the 120 range. Maybe they'll bundle it with other items they don't want. They'll have to, work that into their cost. And my personal opinion, it'll probably drop somewhere around 150 if we do get a massive reprint. But if we get a smaller reprint and every store across the country only gets a couple cases, guys, you might be in for a world of hurt. We might not see much price correction at all. Maybe it drops back to like 200, 180, maybe. But, we're going to need a massive reprint. I don't think people understand that. You need a massive reprint for prices to correct because there's so many stores that want product right now and they have to divvy those boxes and cases up to all of them. And if every person in every store doesn't get that much, they're not going to fire sell it. They're just going to slowly leak it on the market at market price. Maybe it stagnates things and drops things a little bit for the time being because a lot of people are doing that same thing, cashing in on it, but it'll be short-lived as well. So be careful listening to all this, these reprint rumors and thinking that reprint means prices crash, because a small correction and a short-lived one at that will not, incur this crash. And you might miss out and you might end up selling too early. You might end up missing out on huge future gains, worried about those things. Moving on to the rest of the Scarlet Violet era sets. I'm going to say it right now. Every set that is released right now, not talking about the ones that are to be released, right? Every set that is released right now, barring some major reprints, like massive ones that crash the price that are like, every store gets, hundreds and hundreds, 1,000 plus boxes to the big stores. Barring anything like that, I do not believe a single Scarlet Violet booster box will be less than $150. And I think a lot of them will probably be close to 200, if not more. Paldea Evolved, that's going to 200 plus. Just going to throw it out right now. Paldea Evolved is going to 200 plus. Twilight Masquerade is also going to 200 plus. That's my opinion. Every other set will probably fluctuate in the $150 to $200 range. The better sets, like in my opinion, Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, things like that, they'll probably get to the upper hundreds. The things like Obsidian Flames, which who knows, maybe I'm wrong about Obsidian Flames. Maybe it just goes to Oblivion. We're seeing what's happening in Darkness Ablaze. Maybe Obsidian Flames is going to be up there with Paradox and Temporal too. But then some of the, other sets like Scarlet Violet Base will probably, stick around the 150, 160 range. Stellar Crown will probably be somewhere in the middle, maybe in the uppers. And that's just how I see this year playing out for those sets. I think Shrouded Fable will do relatively well this year. I think Shrouded Fable will probably end up being like a $50 to $60 ETB by the end of the year, in my opinion. I doubt we get reprints for that sets because it's just not popular and there's a ton of product out there. And so I think that'll kind of help it move a little faster going forward, especially if some of the cards in the set do well. I don't think it's unrealistic to think that ETB will be $50 to $60. So if you're getting in right now in the low or mid 30s, I think there's a good gain to be made there. Paldean Fates, look, I personally think they need to reprint that set because if not, that Mew and that Charizard and that Gardevoir and those cards are going to continue to run into the stratosphere, and those ETBs are probably going to be $100 plus sometime shortly. And so in my opinion, they likely will reprint Paldean Fates as they always have with the other Fate sets, Hidden Fates and Shining Fates. And so it's hard to say what that's probably going to be at by the end of the year. If no reprint happens, I mean, chalk it up to I don't know, 100 plus, 125. I have no clue where it could run to. But I personally think we probably will see some reprints. It'll probably stabilize, probably somewhere around the price point it is now. You'll probably see it drop back down to the, 50s, and then it'll run back up to the 70s, stuff like that by the end of the year. I could see it being around, honestly, as long as we do get some reprints, probably being around the same price by the end of the year, in my opinion. But if it doesn't, watch out. It's going to the freaking moon. 151. I do not care how much product they print. I don't care how many Blooming Waters boxes there are. I don't care if they do another booster bundle reprint, ETB reprint. I don't care. It's not going to hurt. There will be small downturns in the price per pack, in the singles, in the slabs. In the long term, it is not going to hurt 151 the slightest. I'll tell you why. Go back to Evolutions. Evolutions got some of the most reprints we've ever seen in modern era sets. 4, 5, 6 booster box reprints. Go back and look, okay? It stayed cheap forever, and then it became worth $1,000 a box, and now it's still sitting between $800 to $900 a booster box. Crown Zenith, they did everything in their power to crash Crown Zenith. Everything in their arsenal. They reprinted the ETBs multiple times. They did a late reprint. They reprinted the booster bundles. They tried to throw out massive amounts of Sea and Sky boxes. Didn't work. Crown Zenith is still running. It's in the 70s now. In my opinion, we're probably going to end up seeing the end of Crown Zenith printing. It'll likely be $100 to $150 ETB by the end of the year. In my opinion, I always undercut my my predictions. So I would normally say $100. I'm gonna go crazy with it. I'm gonna say it'll be I don't want to say 150. 150 sounds too high. We'll say 125. I think Crown Zenith will be $125 in ETB by the end of the year. That's my prediction on Crown Zenith. Every Sword and Shield era set will be $200 by the end of 2025. Every one. That includes Vivid Voltage. That includes Battle Styles. All right. When you get into like that second tier set, I think Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, they may trend up a little bit as they continue to, see more scarcity on the market. Maybe Sword and Shield base runs up to the mid-high 300s. Maybe it hits 400. Rebel Clash, maybe it runs up to the mid to high 200s. Maybe hits 300. I don't see a huge amount of movement in those. However, the Silver Tempests, the Astral Radiances, those are likely, in my opinion, going to hit $300 in 2025. Brilliant Stars is probably going to be that next tier. It'll probably break 300. It'll probably be in that mid 300s, maybe high 300s. I don't know if it'll hit 4. All of those top tier sets, the Lost Origins, the Chilling Reigns, right? Those are likely going to hit $400 to $500. Fusion Strike is going to be $500 to $600. And Evolving Skies, in my opinion, will be a $1,500 booster box this time next year. When we do this video, January 1st of 2026, I think we'll be looking at $1,500 Evolving Skies booster boxes. Guys, when we look at Sun and Moon and Sun and Moon and XY, these Sword and Shield boxes are hitting price points much faster than we saw Sun and Moon and XY hit these price points, which is why I think they will continue to outperform those eras in time frames. Now, Sun and Moon and XY, I think some of the lesser boxes, some of the ones that people don't like to open as much, don't have a lot of chase cards, things like Sun and Moon Base, Crimson Invasion, things like that. When you go back to XY, some of the lackluster XY sets, like the Steam Siege, I don't want to say like XY Base or Furious Fist, because those are just on a different level. They're way shorter printed. They're way more scarce. So those may perform differently, but definitely the later XY sets. I'm trying to think of another one that's kind of lackluster, but I can't at this point. Like Steam Siege is the only one that sticks out to me. Every other set's kind of getting some love at this point. So, the Steam Sieges and some of those lackluster Sun and Moon sets, I could see those starting to flatline a little more, start to go a little more stagnant, maybe see some very, very minuscule growth, in my opinion, going into the end of the rest of 2025. But I do think a lot of the high flyer sets will continue to see growth, continue to trend up. You'll continue to see less and less available on the market. When they do hit the market, it'll be kind of like it'll be a treat. And people will say, oh my gosh, here's my chance to get that box. Here is my chance to get a Flashfire box. Here's my chance to get a Phantom Forces box. My chance to get a Team Up. My chance to get, insert any large set, Cosmic Eclipse. And I do think those will get more and more scarce in the market. Anyone who owns them will continue to hold on to them, and they will not be offering deals. They will want top dollar. It won't be one of these things where you can reach out to them privately and say, hey, here's what the last one sold for on eBay or TCG Player. Will you sell me it offline on a PayPal friends and family for 85%? People aren't going to take those deals. I'm just going to throw it out there. People are no longer going to take those deals. They're going to hold out. When it comes to mint boxes, as these things get older and older, Evolving Skies is going to start hitting this. Obviously, Sun and Moon and XY. When it comes to mint boxes, when I say mint boxes, I mean no tears in the plastic. My guy dropped. My folks' figure dropped. Sorry about that, Republic Bricks. I will make sure to pick him up and fix him and treat him with the respect he deserves, brother. But when it comes to the plastic, make sure it's not loose wrapping, no holes, no scuffs, no tears. All the corners are tight. The box isn't been pushed in. A mint box is what these sealed collectors want, the same way single collectors want PSA 10s or Beckett Pristines, whatever it may be. I think those will start to go for more premiums. People will be willing to pay more because they want that mint box in their collection. Guys, I understand any of you single collectors out there, you don't get it. You're never going to get it. I get it, right? But sealed collectors are just like single collectors. Just like single collectors want their cards with no whiting, perfectly centered, pristine. That's what sealed collectors want. They want their boxes to be in perfect shape, and they're willing to pay more for that. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that's a subject for another day. But people will continue to pay more as these boxes age to find mint boxes because it gets harder and harder. You got to think about it. Most all of these older boxes, Evolving Skies is going to get to that point here soon, but definitely Sun and Moon and XY. And as you get further and further back, they've been circulated multiple times. They have been packed up and shipped to multiple different owners, put on their shelves, moved around, and it gets harder and harder to find boxes without any damage or any imperfections. And because of that, that is why you start to see a premium on those. So I do think that will become more of a thing in 2025, more premiums put on mint sealed products. As far as everything else goes, the market is concerned. I know everyone's always talking about the alt arts moving right now, especially with the Umbreon VMAX again, the Gengar VMAX passing the Giratina V and the Lugia V, Charizard V, the Blaziken VMAX, all the big alt arts, right? Concerning all of the top illustration rares, which we're seeing in Scarlet Violet era, all these massive runs on the illustrations, and obviously some of the special illustrations as well. As far as all of those are concerned, guys, the singles market, it moves wildly. It is, that is the Wild West. I don't even try to predict that. I do very well on some of the shorter term plays I made. It's when you kind of see things. I'm a fan of technical analysis. I know some people out there don't believe in technical analysis when it comes to, Wall Street trading, crypto trading, the Pokemon market. I do believe in it. And so I make a lot of plays based on when I see massive spikes in cards and then downturns in cards. And then when they start to go stagnant and set kind of like a higher low. And as long as they are still very popular Pokemon, some of the top hits in the sets, and I believe that the attention will return to those and return to those boxes. Those are the times I like to buy, which is why I've made multiple plays on the alt arts, both times being when they've been low and stagnant and not sought after. And I think there's times like that in the market right now. When you look at a lot of these special illustration rares from Scarlet Violet era, a lot of the love is not returning to those, right? It's all on the illustrations. Everyone's making that grading play. But as the boxes rise and as the sets age, I do believe people continue to come back to those Scarlet Violet era sets, and they'll start to reappreciate all of the special illustration rares. And I do believe there is going to be a time. I don't know if it's going to be 2025. Maybe we need another year. Maybe it'll be 2026. There will be a time when a lot of these top hits, and I'm not saying every special illustration rare, just like I don't say every alt art. I'm not trying to tell you to go to the lowest price alt art in the set. I'm not trying to tell you to buy Skuntanks, right? I'm not trying to tell you to go down to the bottom of the barrel special illustration rares in Scarlet and Violet and be like, Alex, I don't know. I'm going to buy this, I don't know, name one, like a Spidops SIR and SV base. I'm not saying that, but the top hits in the sets of some of the most popular, if not like a second tier popular Pokemon, I do believe a lot of those are going to see steep moves in the future. I don't know when that is. I haven't personally started to make massive plays on those, but there could come a time in 2025 where I do start to load up and make plays on them based on a few factors, based on, the box price, how I see the box price doing, based on, what the PSA 10, the gem rate is, how hard it is to actually grade the cards, and just based on, how I feel that, a lot of the stuff I do is based on feeling, how I feel that Pokemon is going to be accepted, or how much, people want to collect that card and all those good things. But I do think that'll be a thing. Also, I think trainer galleries are going to continue to be a thing. They have not seen the massive moves the alt art have. And as the boxes in Sword and Shield continue to be more and more expensive, I do believe the trainer galleries are going to follow, and they're going to kind of lag the alt arts the same way they lagged the alt arts the first run we saw earlier in 2024. And so when you look at a lot of these top alt arts in the era, if you haven't noticed, the Starmie V, the Missy on the raft in Astral Radiance, that is now the top alt art in the era. Top trainer gallery in the era. If I said alt arts, change that for trainer galleries. That is the top trainer gallery in the era. And then you have, some of the other top ones. The Pikachu VMAX, Pikachu V from Lost Origin. You have the Rayquaza VMAX from Silver Tempest. You've got the Umbreon and Sylveon VMAX and Vs from Brilliant Stars. You have the Mimikyu VMAX and V from Brilliant Stars, the Blaziken VMAX and V from Silver Tempest. These are some of the cards that I'm talking about could see some massive runs in 2025, because Sword and Shield, in my opinion, it's not getting any cheaper. It's not getting any easier to find. It's going to get more and more scarce, meaning the box price is going to be more. You're going to have less and less packs being open because they're going to get more expensive. And the cards are going to be harder to find because they're going to disappear more and more into people's collections or, other investors. And so I can see kind of a secondary run on the trainer galleries as all of the alt arts rise. Those will kind of be a secondary a run on those. You can also do very well on the yellow bordered ones, especially if they're hard to grade. When you think yellow bordered trainer galleries, think illustration rares in Scarlet Violet. The hit rates are basically identical. The Scarlet Violet illustrations are 1 out of 13 packs in most sets. The trainer gallery yellow borders are 1 out of 12 packs. Okay. The special illustration rares and the VMAX trainer galleries are almost identical as well. I think they are identical, especially in Scarlet Violet base, Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames. 1 out of 32 packs, you pull an SIR. 1 out of 32 packs in Sword and Shield, you pull a VMAX trainer gallery, meaning the hit rates are not as easy as people realize on these trainer galleries, V and VMAX. And then when it comes to yellow borders, as long as those continue to be extremely hard to grade, which a lot of them are, I think they're going to continue to mimic what we're seeing in the Scarlet Violet era as people go back, because they want that grading play. And if the grading play is there, usually it drives the price of the single card because they start getting bought in mass trying to grade it. As the card in a PSA 10 gets more expensive, usually the raw card will follow it a bit. And so I do think there's plays there. And so that is kind of how I see the market headed in 2025. Look, guys, I always keep it real. I always keep it honest. I will even let you know, because I'm sure there will be times this year where I do probably make some sales. I didn't really sell much of anything in 2024. Going forward in 2025, I'm sure there will be some things that I move, and I'll keep you guys updated. But like I said, I'm not too worried right now about where we're at. Like I said, come 6, 9, 12 months, I may have to reevaluate things, get a feel for the pulse of the market and the strength of it and where we're going. But right now, I just don't see any trouble on the horizon. We still have massively popular sets coming. People are not slowing down their purchasing, and the prices are not stopping rising. We're not seeing influx of supply. So with the demand staying the same, if not increasing, the supply staying low and getting lower, and just Pokemon as a whole, as a company in every aspect, continuing to push forward, as well as, I didn't talk about it at all this video, but like the economy, I understand some people are struggling, but overall, I mean, stock market is still at an all-time high. Crypto markets, they're kind of off their all-time highs, but they're still very close. They're not seeing massive pullbacks yet, maybe like a 10% pullback from the all-time highs. We have, rates that may not be scheduled to be cut as much as some people were expecting, but they still are scheduling rate cuts next year, which is also going to help. I don't know. If I'm a betting man, right, I would bet 2025 is going to be another massively successful year in the Pokemon hobby, and also probably traditional markets as well. And again, I'll be the first one to sound the alarm. If I see things going the other way, I have no problem getting on these videos and saying, guys, I think we're in for some trouble. I see some pain on the horizon. Maybe it's time to start locking in some profits and reduce your exposure, reduce your positions on some of your products, and be ready to purchase in on this downturn that's coming. And by the way, I do think eventually in the distance, there is going to be a downturn. There always is. Nothing goes up forever. But like I said, for the time being, I'm still extremely confident. I'm still extremely comfortable with everything I'm holding. And that is how I see it. If you don't share my opinion, that's fine. We don't have to agree, but that's what I have this channel for. I give you my takes. None of this is financial advice, especially this video, guys. This whole video is me just ranting and giving you my takes on where I feel the market could go. Honestly, you could just get one of these bad boys and you could shake it up and you could ask it, hey, should I buy X set and see what it says? And honestly, you could probably do just as good as a lot of other people do in this hobby. No one truly knows what is going to happen one day to the next. All we try to do is use all the information that we have to make the best educated guesses that we can. And again, as long as you're right more times than you're wrong, and the times you're right, you're making better percentage gains than the times you're wrong, losing percentage gains, you're going to continue to be all right in this hobby. You're going to continue to be all right in investing in general. So that's what I got to start the year off, guys. Here is to a fantastically successful 2025 to everyone out there. All of my fellow content creators, hope all of you keep crushing it, keep growing your channels, seeing more subscribers, seeing more views. I hope everyone entering the hobby continues to see growth in their collections, growth in their investments, and continues to have a fun time in this hobby. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, if you didn't have fun in 2024, if you're not having fun right now, maybe go find something else to do with your time, because it doesn't get much better than this. That's all I got. Subscribe if you're not. Be back here in a new one soon. I'm out.